So hi everyone, it's 3 o'clock. We'll get started, although I assume people will still keep coming in, but we'll let them catch up. So hello everybody, my name is Ziv Fass. I'm a product manager on the Lync team at Microsoft, and we'll be talking today about Lync in the cloud, and a combination of Lync Online, which is part of Office 365, as well as how does Lync Server integrate with the cloud for kind of the full Lync functionality. So this is these are the topics that I'll be covering today. We will do a quick demo of Lync Online, working from the cloud, and then dive into the Lync Server interop with the cloud story. So that's kind of the agenda for today. We have 75 minutes, and we'll get started. So Lync Online is part of Office 365, the next generation cloud productivity, communications, and collaboration suite from Microsoft. Office 365, as I'm sure most of, if not all of you know, will be coming out later this year, pretty soon now. And so Lync Online is basically the communications workload within that overall suite. Before maybe we go on, can I get a show of hands of who of you kind of knows the Lync experience, understands what Lync is, so I don't kind of repeat myself? Okay, excellent. So that was my assumption, but thanks for validating. And we will basically talk about how does Lync, the context or the way that I will be talking is how does Lync in the cloud compare with Lync on-prem or Lync Server functionality. And so the demo will be similar, just to show you what's available in the cloud versus Lync Server. So again, Office 365, kind of the context for what Lync Online, how Lync Online is being delivered, part of this overall suite, and not as it can be also purchased as a standalone service, but really shines when it's works together with Exchange, SharePoint, and Office as a suite and overall package for end users. So if we think about the Lync workloads, these are the Lync workloads that will be coming, that will be made available, or will be available as part of Lync Online when Office 365 launches. And those are also in beta today, in our public beta. So we have the IM presence and PC to PC or Lync to Lync calling as part of instant messaging available in the cloud, as well as online meetings, so audio, video, and web conferencing functionality that is both in ad hoc meeting options, right, to start kind of escalate from an IM session to an online meeting, as well as scheduled meetings. And this becomes kind of the live meeting service replacement as part of Office 365. But the key is that connecting people in new ways, that's what Lync is all about, with a simplified and unified user experience across all of these communication silos and workloads. So this is the essence of Lync Online. So what's in the IM presence, kind of what are the end user functionality or features, high-level features that are included? So obviously rich presence in instant messaging, of course, link-to-link video and audio calls, which generally speaking, flow PC to PC and not go through the cloud. The actual media does not go through the cloud. Click to link or click to communicate right from Office. All the Office integration that the Lync client provides is available, in the cloud and works the same as it would work, with Lync on-prem or Lync Server. We have the ability to federate or communicate through Lync with external organizations using Lync. So this is what we also call as federation or Lync federation. And this is supported with both Lync Server on-prem as well as legacy versions of the server down to LCS 2005. So pretty extensive federation capabilities. And federation includes all of the Lync communication workloads, so I'm in presence, including audio and video. So really a strong addition to what OC Online is today. And then also you can do the same with Windows Live contacts. including I'm in presence, audio, and video. So that's the ability to communicate outside of your organization using the Lync client. And then all the integration with the rest of the Office 365 workloads. Exchange being key, of course, is part of the unified communications experience. So presence is updated based on the Exchange calendar. Out-of-office messages are displayed in Lync when people look for contacts in the Lync experience or the Lync client. As well as, of course, click to communicate from SharePoint online. So seeing presence in the SharePoint team sites and seeing the interactive office contact card right from SharePoint as well. So that's all included in the integration with the rest of the Office 365 workloads. The other thing that we've added is I'm in presence in OA, leverages Lync Online for I'm in presence when you are in OA, so requiring no client on the desktop. So that's also available, not listed here. And then smartphones. We are bringing Lync to smartphones. It's not available at launch, but coming a few months after launch. And we expect Lync to have a Lync client or Lync app for all of the major smartphone platforms, Windows Phone 7, iPhone, and Android, as well as Nokia. And BlackBerry, they have their own client. And the functionality is the same as what we will support on-prem. So it's kind of the core I'm in presence functionality, as well as some conferencing and voice features. I'm not going to go deep into the client functionality, but this is sort of a future thing that we've already disclosed and is coming. Will be supported with Lync Online the same way as with Lync Server. Moving on to online meetings. So online meetings kind of extends the I'm in presence and audio-video kind of point-to-point communications to rich collaboration with various sorts of content, right? So adding content sharing, rich content sharing in multiple forms to the experience, to the communication experience, and also adding support for multi-party sessions. So I'm in presence, under the I'm in presence, we include kind of one-to-one. Online meetings include the ability to talk to or communicate with up to 250 attendees in an online meeting in an ad hoc fashion, basically escalating from, starting from email most likely, and then IM in an online meeting, or in a scheduled way, which is very similar to what web conferencing is today. So with Lync Online, it's really extending this scheduled meeting that is web conferencing today and is used by maybe 10 or 15% of people in the organization to something that every information worker uses every day and is highly productive and useful and enjoyable communication experience. And we see this in Microsoft. At Microsoft, in the way people use Lync, they just once they start using it, they can't get enough. So I think it's kind of a testament to how easy it is to use and how important it is for communications. The scheduling meetings is done through Outlook and through the Outlook plugin that is included in the Lync install. So the Lync install on the machine installs the plugin in Outlook, which allows you to schedule meetings basically with one click through the plugin. For joining meetings, of course, there's the Lync Rich client. But for people who are outside the organization and might not have Lync installed on their machines, we offer two ways to join meetings. One is a native client, which is a Lync attendee. We call it Lync attendee client. And it is a free client available in Microsoft Download Center. It requires a one-time install, but then when people join the meetings, it provides the full featured experience. Same as the Lync Rich client, which is subscribed, right? So it's for joining. And then the other experience is the web client that we have. It is Silverlight based and provides a no-install join experience for a meeting and participation in the meeting. Now, the web client does not support audio and video, but supports everything else. And for audio, you are able to dial out or dial into a meeting using a third-party audio conferencing service. which we interoperate with, and have created basically this interoperation or integration with several leading audio conferencing providers, which and I'll talk a bit later about that in more detail. But that is basically here it's interop. It's not something that's available natively in Lync Online, but something you basically purchase a separate service for, and that's how you use dial-in audio conferencing. So this is this next slide, how audio conferencing works in Lync Online. And the way this works is all the Lync endpoints are connected to our cloud, to the Microsoft cloud, and the Lync, basically the Lync server or deployment in our cloud. When people want to join from a phone or dial in from a phone into the audio portion of the meeting, they dial into a third-party audio conferencing bridge, which is integrated with basically connected to the Lync server in our cloud. And so everybody hears everything, both the Lync endpoints and the phone endpoints. The other benefit of doing this, of course, other than integrating or everybody hearing everybody else on the meeting, regardless of how they join, the other benefit is that there's a seamless way to basically embed your audio conferencing information in the Lync meeting. So once you enable audio conferencing, it gets embedded in the Lync invite, the Lync meeting invite, and so people can dial in very easily because all the information is in the invite, and there's nothing the user has to do, no copy paste or anything like that. So those are the benefits of integrated audio conferencing. Like I said before, audio conferencing is purchased. The service is a separate service from Lync Online. It's purchased separately from the providers that you all know and probably use today. And of course, this integrated experience is not available with all partners, but only partners that certify and kind of work with us to implement this integration. I just mentioned the passcodes and all the meeting information is embedded in the Lync meeting invite. In order for that to happen, of course, the tenant admin must import this information to the Lync Online tenant console, the administration console, and allocate the right passcodes and access numbers to the right users. And that's how this happens. So it all happens in the Lync Online admin console. And then the partners that we are working with for launch are these here, BT Conferencing, Intercall, and Premier Global. The audio conferencing kind of industry is pretty consolidated, and these are some of definitely the leading providers. We have PGI working in beta right now, and we'll see it in a demo in a minute. And the others we are in advanced stages of working with them to make this integration work. We are also working with additional partners to expand the list of audio conferencing partners that will be available for Lync Online. This basically gives flexibility to you, to customers to choose their own audio conferencing providers instead of going, necessarily with who Microsoft, wants to partner with. So this is kind of our philosophy when it comes to audio conferencing. Administration of Lync Online is very, very simple. Some might say it's pretty basic as well, but it's all web-based, right, as part of the Office 365 administration console. So you log on to Office 365, and once you have admin credentials, you can manage your users and all the settings and policies for Lync Online. On a tenant level, the settings that you can control are enabling federation. And for federation, there are kind of three settings or three options. You can either make it just open federation, so it's on for everybody by default, and any domain that tries to federate with you as a tenant can federate with you. So that's open federation. There's also a white or blacklist option to allow only specific domains to federate with you, with the tenant, and also blacklist. So if you do open federation, you can block specific domains if you think that's necessary. And then the other tenant level setting is Lync with Windows Live, whether you want it on or off. And then user level settings are here. You can enable per user to use or not to use Lync audio and video, dial in audio conferencing information like I just described, file transfer on or off, and again, the federation and Windows Live on a per user setting. So, for example, if you didn't want your CEO to be able to federate and people to federate with him, you can kind of set that on a per user basis. Okay, so let's do a quick demo. So we'll shift gears here. Okay. And this might be, some of this will be a repeat for you because, if you've seen kind of the other Lync demos that we've seen, the idea here is I wanted to show that basically all the things that, you saw kind of the Lync experience works basically the same in the cloud. So all the desktop integration, the Office integration, works. So, starting from email, we see presence bubbles, the same as we would with Lync Server. A lot of people spend, most of their day in Outlook, but IM is a great way to quickly resolve issues, right, and kind of get to the heart of things. So here we have, Tomas. Of course, it's a made-up name, and I can, communicate right from Outlook. So I can start an IM session right from here and say, hi, Tomas. And hopefully Tomas is there, and we can have a conversation with him. Okay, he's here, he's there. You might have seen this. So Tomas is actually Jerome, and he's sitting kind of down at the booth. But he's a French guy, so he likes to talk. It's better for him to when we talk in French. So we have the translation app. This is an extension of the client, which I think most of you have seen. I just wanted to show that this works with the cloud, right? So right now I'm using the cloud service. This is connected to the internet. This computer is connected to the internet with a tenant that is part of the public beta that we're running. So this is something you can go to office365.com right now and kind of set up. So I can send this in English, and the translation works. I don't know how many of you speak French, but this is sometimes it makes good translations, and sometimes it's kind of funny. Yeah, it looks like Jerome had a nice night. See if you can talk, and then we can start a video call. Single click.
Hello.
Hello, Jerome. How are you doing?
How are you?
So I know many of you have seen Jerome just recently, but welcome back, Jerome. So yeah, how are you doing? Everything is okay?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So I actually want to ask you about this project that we were talking about before. Maybe you can show me what you've been working on, so we're ready for the meeting. So Jerome is sharing his desktop right now.
Yeah. All right, let me see. Oops.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was working on some stuff for home. There's a brand new French one coming up.
Okay, so I see you've been working hard on this project stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, excellent. So, but we see here, right, how easy it is to collaborate over content, and not just, so we are having an audio video call, we can, text one each other, but then also see, Jerome's desktop in this case, but we can also see a PowerPoint presentation or anything, a document that Jerome is working on. So very, very useful, ad hoc. This is what we call ad hoc meetings, right? So that's great. So Jerome, thanks, and maybe we can jump into the meeting. Let's
do that. I'll meet you there.
All right, thank you. So going back to Outlook, into the calendar, I click, one click to start an online meeting, and you can see the online meeting credentials here. So the same as we have, same integration as we have, the general Lync integration. You'll notice here that we have a join by phone area, and this is really the PGI audio conferencing service that we have, that I basically input as an admin into this, so people can dial in from a phone to any Lync online meetings. If they are away from their computer, basically, or from any computer. So I'll go and join the online meeting. Of course, we can also join this meeting from the Outlook reminder.
Hey.
Hey, Jerome. Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have all the content types that are available in Lync Online. Right, we have the project presentation. I can move ahead. Right, this is the Bill Gates feature. Right now, and kind of move back to presenter's view. Right, so I'm kind of flipping through the deck right now, or going back to Jerome's view. Jerome is the presenter right now. I can also take over as presenter. This is a Steve Ballmer feature, and get kind of the meeting going. We can, also have a whiteboard, so we see this is the architecture. At least we're not seeing the wine anymore, and we can annotate this, and I can point to things on the screen. So very, easy to use, very productive, online meeting experience, which is integrated with the way that we do ad hoc meetings. So again, very easy. The ease of use has been kind of our guiding principle here. So that's kind of the meeting experience. Again, nothing really new from a feature perspective, but this is all working with the cloud here, kind of over the internet. Let me show you how to. One last thing I want to show. Is on this machine, I'm actually logged into the web app. So, let's assume I'm away from my machine. Maybe I'm in some hotel room. I don't have my laptop, and I want to or I'm an external user, and I want to join the meeting from a browser. So here I have Firefox on, right? I clicked on the meeting. This is another user. In Exchange Online, this is another Office 365 user. I have the meeting, and then when I click it, I get into the meeting, and I can see all the content in the meeting right in my browser. This is Silverlight based, like I said. And then to join the audio, I can do a dial out, and we have a phone here, so I'll just dial out right now. And we see, the PGI audio conferencing bridge called me on this phone, and we can see the number here. And I just joined the meeting with audio as well as the web or content sharing. So that's the web app. One last thing I'll show here. I'll close this. When people who don't have Lync on their machines try to join a meeting, they get to this page before they get to the web meeting, and here they have an option to go and install the Lync attendee client. And if I click on this, this is the user level install available on Microsoft Download Center to install the Lync attendee client on their machine, and then once they do this install, they can get into any Lync online meeting with the full fidelity audio, video, and content sharing capabilities that people who have the Lync client on their machine can do. So it's a great way for people who frequently communicate with Lync online users, can kind of install this one-time app and use it to join meetings. So that's kind of the external meeting story. Okay, so thank you very much, Jerome.
Thank you. See you later.
You can go back to your wine now. Okay. Cool. Close this. Okay, so what we covered up to now was what is available with Lync Online as part of Office 365 when it launches later this year. What we'll talk about right now is what is the roadmap and what are our plans of including voice. And voice is the ability to call and receive calls and basically have a phone number that's associated with your Lync endpoint, right? And so you can communicate with any phone number right from Lync. So Lync becomes basically your phone. So this is a capability that we are planning on adding about 6 to 9 months after Office 365 launches. So it's coming relatively soon. And what it is really soft phone for mobile information workers. It's not the full enterprise voice functionality, but it is still very, very useful. And the idea is that your computer and any place you have your computer becomes your basically phone, as well as your unified communications client, right? It's all the same experience. And so you can work from anywhere as if you were sitting at your office desk. So I can have on my desk at work, I have my PC and I have a small USB device, a speakerphone that I can use to talk. And really, I also have a desk phone, a Lync desk phone on my desk, but it kind of sits there neglected, and I never use it because there's really no reason to. So Lync Online Voice basically will allow you to make and receive calls, to any number. You associate a phone number with that Lync endpoint, and that becomes your business phone number, basically, the user's business phone number. SIM ring or ability to follow me or set incoming calls to ring your mobile phone is available. It's a core part of the Lync experience. Drag and drop conference calling. So this is the ability to, in an ad hoc fashion, add phone numbers. Like I just escalated an IM session with Jerome to an online meeting. I can, in an ad hoc manner, bring a phone number and kind of dial out to a phone number using this voice functionality. So this is not using the audio conferencing bridge that we talked about before. That's only for scheduled meetings. For ad hoc meetings, you would use basically your phone number that you have to make these calls. Interrupt with Exchange Online voicemail. Of course, for unified messaging, voicemails in your inbox along with transcriptions. So that's part of the Office 365 kind of all-up story. And the optimized for Lync, PC peripherals like this speakerphone, and there are a lot of examples from different vendors of how these peripherals really enhance the audio experience and the calling experience when you use the PC soft phone, basically as your phone. So it's not the full enterprise voice capabilities, but it does provide a pretty compelling calling experience, and it's really optimized for mobile information workers who need to work from anywhere, right? These could be, managers or highly collaborative information workers that need to work from home and work from airports and kind of as if they were sitting in their office. This is what voice is kind of tailored for. So how does this work from a kind of architecture or marketecture perspective? Very similar to how we do with audio conferencing, we partner with carriers to basically provide the PSTN termination or phone service to customers. So Microsoft is not going to provide the phone service, right? Think about the phone service as the numbers and the minutes that you pay for. That will be provided by partners, very similar to audio conferencing, like I said. And then Microsoft, provides the Lync kind of experience and the right SKU for Microsoft to make this voice functionality work or available. Like we do with audio conferencing access numbers and PIN codes, the phone numbers, again, are purchased separately from a carrier and basically imported into the Lync Online administration console and allocated to users. And once that's done, the user basically has his PC enabled as a phone. He can make and receive calls and do all the great things that I just described. And then the actual partners that will be available when this becomes available is going to be somewhat limited. I don't know if some of you are aware that Telefonica, the global telco, has a subsidiary called Jaja.com or Jaja, which is a US-based company, and a few weeks ago they actually announced the partnership with Microsoft. And so Jaja will be providing these one of the carriers that will be providing this service along with Microsoft when it launches, again, after Office 365 launches. We are working to expand the choice of carriers and also the international availability of where you can actually provision and sell buy this service. So again, it'll be more limited when we launch, and then over time it will expand. The one thing to kind of note here is that because this is a PC calling service, you can associate really any number that you purchase from a carrier with the user's PC, right? So, for example, you can provide a US-based user with a French phone number, assuming that the carrier can actually provide these numbers, and so we kind of blend, right, the VoIP and the PC nature of this kind of blends the geographic nature of phones. So that's another interesting kind of aspect of this service, right? Okay, so shifting gears to talk about, how does what I just described, right, which is a high-level description of what Lync Online is and the not-so-far roadmap, how does that compare to the full Lync server capability? So we talked about instant messaging, online meetings, and voice being available in Lync Online. Enterprise voice, which is the ability to basically, enhance or replace your existing PBX, is not going to be available in the cloud. In this release, what we call Wave 14, right? Something we are definitely, looking on how to do going forward, but for now, it's not going to be available in the cloud and only available with Lync server. Now, to get, Lync, there's no way to mix Lync workloads between Lync Online and Lync server. So a user must be homed either fully on Lync server and get kind of the full functionality, or on Lync Online, and there you don't have enterprise voice. So that's kind of where technically we are right now. And where Lync server is kind of a full PBX alternative today, which with much more IM and online meetings, of course. Lync Online does not provide these features at the moment. So what are a bit of a deep dive into what are those features that are not provided in Lync Online and kind of constitute the enterprise voice functionality. So this is the list. Interop with PBXs, gateways and SIP trunks. So like I said, in Lync Online, the only voice integration or the voice becomes how you have to use the carriers that we partner with in the cloud. Of course, if you deploy Lync server, you can partner or interoperate with any PBX or gateway that is UCOIP certified or basically certified for Lync. And there's a whole very broad list of these devices, PBXs, and gateways. So again, no interop. Interop is only available in Lync server. IP phones and analog device support are only available in Lync server. E911, this is the ability to, based on your network, on-premise network, detect where you are, where a user is when they dial 911 from the Lync endpoint. So that's not available, only available in Lync server. Call admissions control is about managing the bandwidth that you have, especially over WAN links. It's a kind of modern, IP PBX feature. It's only available in Lync server. Branch office appliance for branch office resiliency. And then response groups is the Lync implementation of hunt groups and kind of contact center capabilities, only available as part of enterprise voice with Lync server. Conferencing, interop with room-based conferencing systems. So this is the Polycom or Tandberg that you have on-prem in room-based systems. This interop is not available in the cloud right now. As well as the native Lync dial-in audio conferencing. Like we said, Lync audio conferencing, Lync Online provides audio conferencing through integration with third-party services and not natively in Lync, like Lync server does. And then there are a few other important enterprise features. Server-side API, so this is the UCMA platform to build server-side custom apps that run, that talk to the Lync server directly. The client-side APIs, like we saw the extension, the translation app is still work with Lync Online, but server-side is not supported. And then archiving solutions, for IM archiving is not available, is only available with Lync server. And like I said before, if you're deploying Lync server, all workloads must be run on Lync server, so you cannot run IM and meetings in the cloud and voice on-prem. That is not a supported, technically just not available, not supported by the product at the moment. So for large enterprise companies that are looking for kind of to get the full value of UC, this is a topology or architecture that really makes sense and that is, kind of works out of the box. And that is Lync server on-prem, provides kind of the full UC capabilities, including enterprise voice, interop with your existing infrastructure, whether it's PBXs and room-based conferencing systems, and having your exchange in the cloud, of course for email and calendar, but also the voicemail, right, the unified messaging workload. You can move that to the cloud, and these works interoperate. These things interoperate in a seamless way. Basically, it works through the edge server of Lync without the need for any additional infrastructure, gateways, SBCs. Nothing is needed to make this thing work. And we think this is for customers who want to get kind of the full value of UC. Lync server delivers all of the value, right? Especially enterprise voice, which is not going to be available in the cloud. And it works with Exchange Online, so the move to the cloud can really start with Exchange Online, and these things work together very well. And like I said, this works through the edge server, and when we think about interoperability with Exchange, we're talking about presence integration that I described, right? Calendar integration, presence integration, as well as integration, so the ability to receive calls on your Lync infrastructure and redirect them to the cloud for the voicemail service or the unified messaging service. And then, of course, Lync server can be managed either on-prem, by you, or through a private cloud offering from a third-party service provider. And we're seeing more and more companies and service providers provide Lync as a kind of a managed service, kind of through a private cloud. When we think about Exchange Online here, this is kind of what we call the Microsoft public cloud. it's our multi-tenant cloud, right, where Exchange is running, and that is very, very cost effective and is enterprise ready at this point, right? So I just wanted to give you an example of kind of a real-world example of cloud UC, and this is from Enterprise Connect, where a session that basically asked for an RFP for fully cloud-based UC services. And basically, the requirement was a cloud UC solution for 5,000 seats, fully cloud, nothing on-prem, to deliver email, IM, conferencing, voice, PBX capabilities, everything, in multiple sites, kind of around the world. Mostly the headquarters for this imaginary company called ECM was in the US with kind of sales offices around the world. There were also some call center requirements in the RFP, so this is basically kind of a full communication solution, and kind of asked for an RFP for this. So what BT presented in this RFP is this architecture that you see here. And basically, this is Lync server run by BT in their data center as a private cloud offering. It runs over a BT MPLS network, so it's a managed network. It's not over the internet. So your real-time kind of media is managed and can be controlled, and then you can support CAC and all these kind of advanced PBX features that typically enterprises require when they think about a voice solution. And then the rest of the unified communications and collaboration suite is running in the Office 365 in the Microsoft public cloud, and that is Exchange, of course, for email, as well as SharePoint, and Office Professional Plus is the client software, but delivered as a service. And that is run over the internet. So Office 365 is all it requires is internet connection, and so it's kind of really the best of both worlds. You get, for the real-time media, you get a private cloud over a managed network, right? You also get the telco services that you require, of course, to communicate for voice, because BT is, of course, a global carrier as well. They have their one voice network, and they terminate all the SIP trunks in their networks and can provide access numbers or local phone numbers in a lot of countries. So you get kind of the real-time and telephony service as a private cloud from BT with Office 365 run by Microsoft for the email and productivity solutions. And this is all working, like I said before, very in an integrated way across presence and voicemail. So very, very compelling solution. Again, managed network. This includes redundancy for branch offices, again, provided by BT in the BT private cloud deployment. And so basically, this is really kind of a full cloud solution, a combination of private and public cloud that provides the full Lync functionality as well as the best of the Microsoft public cloud. And from a price point perspective, this was an RFP, so of course, these prices are kind of estimate. But we were talking about something along the lines of $60 per user per month, including everything, not including call centers, but including the full Lync server and the full Office 365, including Office, the Office suite, the Office client suite. So if you think about the $60 per user per month, the Office 365 suite, the top tier SKU for Office 365 is what we call E4, is $27. So basically, you kind of pay $27 to Microsoft, and then the rest is BT basically hosting and managing your Lync deployment, your Lync private cloud deployment at this point. So when we think about kind of the cloud for Lync today, if you want to get the full functionality of Lync, private cloud is probably the way to go. And you should consider this. Of course, you could also run Lync on-prem and get kind of similar functionality for end users. but you're not realizing kind of the benefits of the cloud at that point. But so this is definitely an option, to consider. And we're seeing more and more of our partners offering these sorts of private cloud solutions. So BT is just an example, maybe one of the more advanced ones, but certainly available from other carriers as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave time for questions. So kind of summarizing. So Lync Online delivers, like I said, IM and online meetings at Office 365 launch. Voice, or the voice for mobile workers, right? Basically, the soft phone or link to PSTN capability is planned for after Office 365 launch, about 6 to 9 months after. And this will be a joint offer with carriers, like I described. And then for the full enterprise voice and full kind of Lync functionality, Lync Server is still the way to go. The cloud, our public cloud is not there yet. And that works, generally speaking, seamlessly, although seamlessly is an overused word, with Exchange Online in Office 365. So, a hybrid deployment of Lync in a private cloud or on-prem with Exchange Online is probably the way to get the full benefits of the Microsoft kind of communications and collaboration software today. And then Lync Online, of course, is available as a public beta, so you can go to office365.com if you haven't already and try out Lync. Again, I am in online meetings, very easy to set up, and definitely if you're not on Lync yet, it's a good way to get on it. If you want to get the full value of the Lync product, Lync Server is the way to go. So that's kind of the high-level summary of what we kind of talked about here. Some more related content. We have a few, there are a lot of Lync sessions today that definitely encourage you to go and listen to. The Lync Online service description is available. It's a public document, so it's available in the Microsoft Download Center. If you go to Bing and search for Lync Online service description, you can get all the basically a very good idea of all the features and what's available in Lync Online. So that's kind of the one document where you can get all the information. And then there's of course the community portal for Office 365 to get more in-depth technical information about how to do things, how to configure the network, what ports you need to open, et cetera, to make it kind of work. And I'll be, after this session, I'll be at the Lync demo booth if you want to ask questions. I'll stick around as well. So we have almost 30 minutes for questions. So do you want to maybe start asking? Does anybody have a question for me? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, I'll repeat the question. So the question was, is auto attendant and the IVR capabilities in Exchange, right? You were asking about Exchange. Are they available in the cloud as part of the Lync, server on-prem with Exchange in the cloud scenario? So the answer is yes. So I'm not an Exchange expert, but Exchange Auto Attendant is available as part of the UM. So UM in the cloud is the full UM capabilities in Exchange. So you get the full thing. Now Lync Server, in addition, or kind of separately from that, Lync Server also has what we call response groups, which is actually a very powerful kind of contact center solution, right? That is available in Lync. So you can get it kind of both from Exchange in the cloud as well as from your Lync Server deployment, and you just need to pick the right functionality for you and what you want to use. But it is available in this. Yeah, it's kind of the full story there. Yeah. Yeah.
Given the timing of Lync Online Voice, which is 6 to 9 months after launch, how will the Skype acquisition influence the direction of that?
Yeah, great question. Maybe you can help us figure it out. So the question was, how does the Skype acquisition work with the Lync Online voice that I just described? So of course, we can't talk a lot about Skype, and we don't know what's going to happen, and the acquisition needs to be closed, etc. But regardless of Skype, and Skype is an excellent consumer network, and is you can almost think about it as a telco of sorts, right? I think it'll be a great addition, and there are a lot of opportunities for Lync, which we can all kind of imagine together. But regardless of that, I think our philosophy with voice is that we want to give customers carrier options when which carriers they want to work with, and so Jaja is just one example of a carrier that we will be working with, and I think for enterprise customers specifically, there will be requirements to work with your incumbent carrier, your local carrier, and so our goal is to provide this choice regardless of what assets we have within the Microsoft network in general. So, of course, Skype. So kind of to summarize, Skype doesn't have an impact on this philosophy necessarily. Although we never know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Does Lync integrate with Cisco IP phone, or is this like a replacement to that?
Yeah. So the question is, does Lync integrate with a Cisco IP phone, or is it a replacement? Yeah. So when we think about the Lync. Let me get back to the, Let me get back to the architecture here. So in this kind of architecture, Lync on-prem is basically a PBX replacement option. So you can kind of get rid of you don't need a Cisco IP phone because Lync provides soft phone as well as Lync IP phones. But it also interoperates with your Cisco PBX if you have an existing one. So you can basically have media flow directly between the Cisco PBX to the Cisco phone and the Lync endpoints. So that's this is through interoperability. You can again in the Lync server also supports what is referred to as RCC, remote call control. So you can use the Lync endpoint to basically make a call through a Cisco IP phone. So there are interop scenarios to make these things work together. But from a cost perspective, you're running two platforms at that point. So I think kind of the end goal is to consolidate on a single platform, whichever one you think makes sense. But they do work together. So that's why we say kind of Lync is a PBX enhancement. So that's kind of an enhancement to your Cisco PBX or whatever PBX you have. It's also a PBX replace. So you can, at some point, replace your existing infrastructure with this kind of next generation platform. Yeah?
Is there now, or are there any plans for the online solution where one single business can house their regional users in online data centers?
So yeah, I'll repeat the question. So the question was, are there plans to have a regional deployment for Lync Online, basically having users in different regions in the world homed on different data centers? That's the question, right? In the same organization, yeah, but kind of across data centers. So right now, a tenant is homed on a single kind of data center. We are definitely looking at providing a way to home users based on their location, but still keeping kind of the same logical tenant. Something that we are looking for in the next major release. Has complications, but something we want to enable for sure going forward. Other questions? Yeah. Will it be a yeah? So a Mac OS client. So the question is there going to be a Mac client? So the answer is yes. There will be a Mac client. It's going to be called Lync for Mac. It will be released. Will be available soon with Office 365 launch or around that time frame. Still working on the timing exactly. And it will work with the cloud, so you can access Lync Online from a Mac, any Mac using kind of the full-featured Lync basically. Yeah, sorry.
Can you federate with an OCS 2007 R2 and Lync in the cloud? I know in the first beta couldn't. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, so the question is, can you federate with an OCS 2007 R2 deployment? The answer is yes, you can. They have to be two different domains, two different SIP domains. But yeah, you can. You're going to support up to OCS 2007 and also LCS 2005 for federation.
How that works?
That should work right now, yeah. Yeah. If you're having problems, there were some problems with it in the beginning, but it should be working right now, yeah. Yeah. So the question is, how does Lync compare from a video experience to hardware-based solutions? So I think when we think about desktop video for everybody in your organization, Lync is one of the leading solutions out there. It's much more cost-effective, kind of uses your off-the-shelf hardware. For conference rooms and kind of telepresence, Lync is probably, you probably want a kind of room-based system which is hardware-based. And the best of both worlds is to interoperate those. So your room-based is based on a hardware solution, but everybody in your organization has a desktop with Lync, and they can communicate with each other. And this works with Lync Server. You can interoperate through gateways, typically, but you can interoperate with the major video conferencing providers. Other questions? Yeah.
Can you give us an idea what the minimum Lync server on-prem configuration was? OCS, you need like 19 servers.
So I'm really not the expert. I think now with virtualization that is supported with Lync, you can significantly decrease the number of servers. We also did some consolidations with Lync on server roles. So I think you can kind of get started with very few servers, but I'm not. 2. We are hearing 2. Anybody lower here? No. Yeah, so very few servers, I think. We think that there was a lot of engineering work to make that better. And virtualization, of course, makes it also easier. One question that I was expecting to hear, but I didn't, so maybe I'll raise it myself. So there is a question or a scenario where you split your users between, Exchange calls this coexistence, right? Where you split your users between a server and online. So you put some users on premise or in the server, and other users, maybe remote users, online. So using the same SIP domain, this is not supported in this release. Something we are looking at for future releases. But because of the gap of functionality in Lync Online, specifically with enterprise voice, we didn't feel that it's a complete scenario to split your deployment. And so we are recommending for enterprises, to get the full enterprise voice, put all your users on Lync server, whether it's a private cloud or on-prem, and interoperate with Exchange Online for email. So that's kind of the story about what is called split domain, or the ability, again, to split users on the same domain between the cloud and on-prem. So something is a future thing we're looking at for next releases.